Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, August 19th. I am April Davis with April Davis Creations, and I'm so happy to have you here for my Tuesday Facebook Live to Go class. As always, I'm just double checking to make sure that I went live, and it looks like I have gone live, so that's exciting. If you are watching, please do say hello. I love to be able to just chit chat with you while I'm trying to craft, and I just love it when you join me and just say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Lots to talk about today. I'm going to do a few updates, and then I want to get right into the class because this Perfectly Pears bundle is amazing, and I can't wait to share it with you. But before we do that, let me go ahead and just give you a few quick updates. So let me switch my screen with you, and we'll just go over my updates. Of course, the In Color sale is still going on. All In Color products are 50. Hi, Sandra. 15% off, and that includes anything that has the new 2025 to 2027 In Colors. So design series paper, if it features that In Color, cardstock, blends, markers, inks, you name it. If the In Colors are part of it, then they are 15% off, and this sale goes through the end of August, so don't forget about that. Also, I wanted to remind you, if you haven't had a chance to go shop our last chance products, these are products that once they're gone, they're gone. Hey, Mom, so good to see you. I'm glad you made it. Be sure to go check these out, and just to kind of help you along, if you go into the Stampin' Up site and then go to menu, then go to specials, then go to last chance, that will take you to those last chance products, so you don't have to try to figure out what they are. But some really deep discounts there, so you want to take advantage of that while supplies last. All right. Also, wanted to remind you about my August Crafting Happiness Club. Tomorrow is the last day to register for this club. This is a monthly club, and so every month you receive a different package delivered right to your front door with some fun cards. This month for August, we're featuring the Cheers and Sips bundle, and the cards are really, really sweet. So I'm just going to give you a really quick view of the cards. This is a fun fold card. And then we've got this little one that's also a fun fold card. Cheers for this one. And then we've got this one that actually ends up being a gift card holder. So once we open this one up, you can open it up, and here's a little place to put your gift card. So with this particular club, you make 2 of each of these cards. And in the kit, it's all the cardstock, a half package of the Celebratory Sips DSP, a full bolt of the Petunia Pop ribbon, so you're going to have plenty of ribbon to make other things, and then a full package of the rhinestones for basic jewels embellishments. So this enrollment ends tomorrow, and then we'll get started with the next one. Hi, Diana. Been not so patiently waiting for today. Okay, we're gonna go here in just a second. She's excited about the Perfectly Pears. All right, let me show you the Create Happiness Club as well. This enrollment is open through August 31st. This club is a bi-monthly club. You're gonna make 6 cards, but each of these cards are a little bit more above and beyond. They're kind of a step up. All of this information you will find out on my website. Let me put my website up here just for you guys. Go to aprildaviscreations.com. Crafting Happiness Club, Create Happiness Club, all that information is there. This is the Create Happiness for September. And here are the cards. So pretty. We're utilizing the Pretty Florals and Sweet Blooms bundles, but look how fun these cards are. I love to be able to die cut and piece these together. This has got some embossing for the background as well, and stamping. Look at this one. How fun is that? And then we've got this one, and I've got some inside. And then this one's kind of a stair step one, but look how fun that is. So with this kit, you get every other month, you get the 6 cards, plus you're gonna get designer series paper, ribbon, embellishments. All right, I'm really, really excited to share with you guys. Let me see if I've forgotten anything. Oh, I need to bring these back. I want to share with you Paper Pumpkin. Enrollment for the September Paper Pumpkin, it ends on September 10th. But I got the August Paper Pumpkin the other day, so I wanted to kind of share with you what's in it, because these boxes are so exciting when you open them up and everything that's in it. First of all, you're going to get a flyer that tells you how to put everything together, okay? So it gives you all the materials that you need to be able to put everything together. This particular one, September's won't be like this, but this particular one had 2 stamp sets in it. So I put my stamp sets in little folders because I use them even outside of Paper Pumpkin, but you got 2 stamp sets. But I want to show you these cute cards because I had to sit down and play with it right away. So this is one of the cards, and it comes with a matching envelope. How fun is that? Here's the second one of the cards. And remember, these are August cards. So August enrollment is over. The next kit will be for September. So I'm showing you what the August cards were. And check out this one. How fun is that? And then remember, I have a team of 3 other demonstrators where we do alternative cards. And so I sat down yesterday and played and did the alternative cards. I don't think I have what I need for this kit. Guess I know what I'm ordering today. Well, we haven't shown the kit yet. We're doing Perfectly Pears today, Diana, so I'm not sure which kit you're talking about, but I'll touch base with you so we can make sure you get what you need. So here's one alternative. How fun was that? And I really got excited about the scoreboard. So I started scoring everything. It's kind of like what, shiplap? So here's a second one made out of what was in the kit and other things. And then I've got this one. So these are my 3 cards, and in the alternatives, you're going to have, oh, the every other month kit. You're right, Diana. But enrollment is through. You've already paid because you're a regular subscriber. But yeah, you'll want to make sure that you have it. So go out to the website because the website will tell you what you need for this next month's Create Happiness Kit. But you're already paid for it. You just need to make sure you have the right stamps on hand. All right, so here's the last card for this. And then there'll be 9 more cards that will be part of the tutorial. And what's important for me to share is that that tutorial is free for anybody who is a subscriber with me and to my Stamp About team. Those tutorials are free. If you're a demonstrator and you already are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, but you want the alternatives tutorial, you can always go out to my PDF store and purchase it. All right, really quickly, a few more updates. I shared last week, but I wanted to remind everybody, I just updated my retired product store. I added a cajillion. Is that a word? It's a lot. I added a lot of new retired products. So be sure to go out and check out my retired product store. You'll go to aprildaviscreations.com and just go to retired products, and all of that will be out there. So all the new stuff is on top. And that will take care of that. Okay, so now that I've got all of the updates taken care of, let me show you the cards that we're going to be making today. And Diana, I know you're excited about these. Let me take this down. This is made with the Perfectly Pears Bundle. And this is a fun bundle. But look at these cards. I'm going to show you the paper too because the paper is just gorgeous. But today we're going to make all 3 of these cards. And remember, this is a to-go kit. So the class itself is free, but if you want the kit to create these cards for free, then you can place an order in my online store, or you also have the option to purchase the kit if you don't want to place an order in my online store. So again, all of that information is out at aprildaviscreations.com. So those are the cards we're going to create, but I want to show you this paper because this paper is so pretty and so vibrant. So we've got some petal pink, and then we've just got some check on the back for this one. I've got a card, one of the cards we're doing today, we utilize this. And what's fun about this paper, because you're you know, how do I utilize this paper? If you cut it in thirds, like 3, 3, 3, or 4, 4, because most cards are like 4 by 5 1/4. So you can cut it by 4, 4, you're gonna get 3 across, and then you can do 5 1/4, and you'll have sections for each of your cards. And we're actually doing that. And then check out these pears. I wanted to share with you that this paper is amazing. Where's my stamp set? I've got it hidden under here. The dies that come with this actually cut out the designer series paper. So what I did is I sat down one afternoon and I took a sheet of my designer series paper and I started cutting out all of my paper with my dies. Certainly you can stamp. You've got stamps that you can stamp and then die cut. I'm going to show you how to make the book fold. But you've got dies that will cut all of this out. So let me finish showing you the rest of the paper. And this is the back to this one. I don't think I showed you the backs to these. So there's the back to this one. How pretty is that? And then look at this. This is that Secret Sea color, and the pears just pop off of that. And then like we have the dark check and the Secret Sea, you've got the yellow check as well. So these would be pretty paired together as also. Then we've got this, and then we've got this one and some more green. So the paper is a lot of fun as well. And I do take advantage of the paper. So let's get started with card number 1, and we're going to create this card first. So let's talk about what's in the kit. We've got Misty Moonlight card base. I've got a piece of petal pink for my layer. I've got a piece of the designer series paper that I've cut for a layer. I also utilized our stylish shape dies to make my circle. So we've got that. And then I have a number of other things in here. I did the inside, so I'm going to show you how to do the inside. So I've got a piece for the inside. And then I'm going to show you, let me see, we're going to do some stamping with this. So a couple of things. I'm actually going to stamp the pears this time around. That's what I did for this card. This is not cut from the catalog from the designer series paper. This is actually stamped and cut. And so I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. That said, I also just wanted to show you that I could have created this, and I will on the other cards that we're going to be making, but I could have created this without stamping. So if you like the easy way, what I did is I just have a little container here that's got all my pieces in it. And I just cut those out so I can make some really quick cards. But I do want to go ahead and stamp and die cut for you for this particular one. Then we'll take the easy route. So in the set, the die set, you also have this little grid. So I cut this grid out of the petal pink, excuse me. And then there's also a label in here. So I've got this label that I've already die cut for you. And then I've already stamped the leaves and their little branches. I'm going to stamp the pears, and then we'll continue on. So let me bring out my Stampin' Pierce mat. We'll move this stuff out of the way so I don't lose it. And then we're just going to stamp 2 pears. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my silhouette of my pears, and I'm going to stamp those in the Memento Black. So we'll go ahead and get this inked up. I'm going to stamp one on this side. Then we'll ink it up again. I'm going to do them both at the same time. So we'll get this inked up. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean off this stamp with my Simply Chamois. And then I'm going to bring in the solid stamp that is actually textured. You can see it when you're looking at it up close. I don't know if you can see it, but there's kind of lights and darks here. This is going to be fun. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Old Olive and I'm going to line this up, and we're going to stamp our pears in Old Olive. So this is going to be the start of it. So let me get this one lined up. And the nice part is that we can see through our photopolymer stamp. So I'll go ahead and get this down. And if it's not perfect, it's okay. And then we're gonna turn this around and I'm gonna stamp this one. But I'm not done yet. Most pears, and I just picked up some pears, and I shared a case with my daughter, and a lot of the pears, and you can see the pears on the designer series paper as well, they've got shading to them, you know, like they might be kind of a green yellow. So we're going to do that. We're going to add some yellow to the pears. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my blending brush, and I'm going to bring in my Darling Duckling. And let me see, I think I'm just going to bring in a scrap paper just so that I can kind of dab off. I could do it on my glass mat, but then I have to clean my glass mat. So I'm going to take my blending brush. I'm just going to get a little bit of ink on it. I don't want a lot, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this and I'm going to blend it on my pears. And this is going to give me that two-tone color. And I'll show you this in just a second. Let me get this side done. And just give it some dimension, but it just kind of brings this pear to life. So we've got that. And can you guys see the coloring in it? Isn't that pretty for the pears? So let me push this off to the side, and we're done with those. And now what we can do is we can actually start die cutting. So let me bring this back in, and I've got my die for these pears, and I think that's the only thing I have to die cut on these. Oh, nope, I also have to die cut these. I've already stamped them. I stamped them in green, excuse me. I stamped them in Mossy Meadow. So let me pull this die out, and then we can get these lined up and we'll get these cut too. All right, so moving this out of the way, bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss. And I'm gonna reuse some of the tape that I already had. So let's start with, let me get my little sandwich going here. I reuse my tape until it doesn't work anymore. So we'll get this lined up. And then I'm gonna get this one lined up. Well, I can't do it yet. Let me see, I don't really wanna run these through twice. So what I'm gonna do, how do I wanna say this? I only wanna run things through twice. So I'm going to do each of these twice. That way I'm not spending all my time just die cutting. So now we've got our pear that we're getting lined up. And what I do with my tape. I had it right here. Oh, there it is. There it is. So we'll go ahead and get this down. And then what I can do is we'll put the pear on, and we'll put the leaves on, and we'll get these die cut first, and then I can run them through a second time. And I'll only be cutting twice. All right, so we've got these guys. So I'll pull these out. There we go. And the pear. There we go. And then we'll do it one more time. Get my dies all lined up again. And then we'll be ready to start building this card. In fact, I do have just a little bit more stamping I need to do, but it'll go fast. So let's do this. And remember, with this to-go kit, you are going to get enough supplies to create 2 of each of these cards. So there's 3 cards, but you're going to be making 6 cards. All right, so let's crank this through. All right. We've got our pears and our leaves. So let me put these off to the side. I need to, let me see, I'm going to put my tape here so I don't lose it. And then I'm going to put my dies back in here so I don't lose those either. So we've got that. All right, let's look and see what we need to do next. We need to do some stamping with respect to our sentiment. And we're going to stamp on this little label. And let me bring this back in. Move these out of the way. And let's see, I'm going to, where's my paper that I had? It was here. Let me find, I'm going to stamp in, I believe, let me see what color we used. I think I used Misty Moonlight, but let's just double check. Yes, I used Misty Moonlight. So we're going to stamp thank you in Misty Moonlight. Here's my thank you stamp. This is a fun script stamp. And I was going to put some paper up on, oh, here it is. I'm just going to put this up underneath it. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. And we'll get this centered. Oop, I think I just touched it. Hopefully it's not gonna be too bad. Let's go right here. There we go. Pulled that one out. I thought I touched it with my stamp before I was ready to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and move this back. Trying to make it so that I don't lose things. This area is really small, and yet I'm the best at losing stuff in such a small area. Okay, so let's move this off to the side and let's start to build this card. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start to build our layers. Oh, actually, guys, jumping the gun, I'm not done stamping yet because I am doing the inside. And I know you guys don't see me do the insides very often, but periodically I get a request to have the insides done. So, and I do like doing the insides. It's like making 6 cards instead of 3 cards, but these are really quick. So I'm gonna take my flower stamp and I'm going to add some flowers down here in the corner. And then I'm also going to turn it and I'm gonna add some flowers up here at the top. Okay, so we've got that done. Now these flowers actually have a little center to them. So I'm gonna use the Misty Moonlight and I'm gonna take this little stamp that happens to be the insides of these flowers. So we'll go ahead and get that set up. And I just wanna make sure as I'm looking at this that I get it lined up appropriately. So I think this is how it needs to go. So we'll go ahead and do this one. And it goes right about, I think, sorry, I'm getting my head in the way. I just want to make sure I get it right. Okay, so we're going to put this one here. There we go. We've got those centers. And then let me see, how did I do this one? Because I turned the stamp around. So maybe this way? Yes. So let me go ahead and get this one down. And then we'll be good to go. Yay. Okay, so that's going to be our inside. You can stamp another sentiment inside, or you can just keep it blank and you can make a note out of it. Alrighty, let's see. I'm going to move this out of the way. Now I'm going to start building. So we've got our card base, and to the card base we are going to add the pretty pink and this DSP layer. So let's go ahead and get that started. I just scribble my glue on, but the glue does give me the freedom to move things around. So if I don't get this quite straight, which actually I did a pretty good job this time around, this one's straight. Now let's go ahead and get this added, making sure that my card is opening the right way, because I have been known to glue my layers on upside down, which is not a good thing. It can be fixed, but I would rather put it on right the first time. All right, so let's get this one down. And you can see my borders are just very, very thin, like not even 1/8 of an inch maybe. Okay. So now we've got our circle that we're going to utilize, and I'm going to go ahead and I am going to put it down in the center of my cards. Actually, I might go up a little bit higher. So we'll leave a little bit more space down here than up there, just because I think that pear and those flowers are really pretty. But let's go ahead and get this circle down, and this is going to be our kind of like the focal for the pears that we're going to be gluing onto it. So let me center this up. That looks good. Okay, and then before I put my pears down, let me bring in my silicone mat, and I'm going to actually glue my stems on. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue here and I'm going to put a little bit of glue here, and I'm going to take my stems and I'm going to glue them down because they're going to go right on the top here. And this way, if there is any glue that happens to get on or squeak out from behind this, it goes on my silicone mat. I don't have to worry about it. We'll get this one down. Okay. So we'll give that a chance to set up. And while it's setting up, I'm just going to flip this over and bring in my dimensionals, and let's get some dimensionals on the back. So let me pull my tweezers out, and we'll put some dimensionals along here. And I'm just kind of paying attention. One is going to layer over the other one, so I want to make sure that when I do that, let me see, this one's going to layer over, so I'm going to only put dimensionals on this side. And then I can put, I've got some mini dimensionals that I'm going to put on the leaves. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to put them right in the center. Okay. Now, when I get ready to put these on, this is going to be my first pear to go down. So let's go ahead and get the backs off of these. I think I got them. Yep. Sticky, sticky. We got them. And then we'll put this one down first. Oh, before I do that, though, I need to put down my little like grid or scratch. So let me move this off to the side. Now, let me show you something. You may have seen other demonstrators do this. There's a couple of ways that you can get this down. You can use self-adhesive paper. So like if I were to go and die cut this, I could put my adhesive strip down first, cut it, and then with the die, and then peel off the back, and that would make it into a sticker, right? I didn't do that. The other thing I can do is I can take my glue, and I've got my precision point, and I can just do little dots, which is what I do a lot, just with the little dots. Or I found a new tool. It's not my idea. It was somebody else's idea. It's been going around, but I'm just going to put a little bit of glue down here. And then, let me see, it's a little sticky here. Let me get this off. It was clogging up. All right, a little glue down here. And then what I did is I took a basting brush and I cut off the tips of the basting brush so it's very short. I've been working on another project. You guys will get a chance to see it later, but I've been working on another project, and this has made it so easy for me to get glue onto the back. So you just take your basting brush, and this is going to be part of my supplies in my studio, but then you just dab it on the back of your die on your silicone mat, and now I have glue on the back of here, so I can go ahead and I can get this put down. How easy was that? And no mess. There's nothing oozing out from behind it. It just makes it so easy. And then this and the silicone mat are so easy to clean up after the fact. So let me go back to my pear now, and I'm going to lay this pear down here. I'd already taken the dimensionals off of that one, the backings. And remember, this one, I didn't put one on this side because it's going to layer over. Okay, so I've got just enough of my dimensionals here so that I can lay this over, because I don't want it to be double dimensioned, if that makes any sense. I've already got dimensions, so I want it to lay flat. All right, so we'll go ahead and take this one, and I think I'm gonna lay this one probably right maybe about here. So we've got that, and then the next thing we'll do is we're going to take dimensionals and we're going to put them behind my thank you. But I only need dimensionals on this side, so I'm going to add just a couple right here to give it some stability. And then what I can do is I can take some glue and put it here. So let's go ahead and pull these off. I like using my take your pick, especially since my fingers are just a little bit sticky now because I had that little glue issue. But I'm going to bring my dimensionals over here, and I can lay this flat. I just want to make sure it's straight. So there we go. We've got this part of it. And then we will take these are the low profile sparkle dots. So I'm going to take these low profile sparkle dots and we are going to add some bling to this card. So let me see, I'm going to use am I going to use the green or am I going to use the blue? Let's use the blue because the blue is kind of like the secret C. So let me put one here and then I'm going to put one over here. And then I think I'll put another one, another little one right over here. Okay, one last thing we have to do and we will be done with this card. We've got to put our insert in. So let's go ahead and get that done. Make sure I got this centered up the way I need to. I love the glue, allows me the freedom to kind of scooch this around. So we've got that. And here we have our first card. How fun is that? All right, let me clean these up and we will get started on card number 2. So let me pull this out of the way and let me see. Card number 2, here's the kit for card number 2. Let me find card number 2 to show you. All right, here's card number 2. How fun is this? We are going to use a white card base. I've already got it folded in half. I hope I can find the gem that would look like a water drop to put on the pears. That would be so cool. I'm not off the top of my head. I don't know what that would be, but I'm sure we've got something, or you may have something in your stash from before, but a water drop would be really cool. Okay, then we've got our Secret C. Then we've got our designer series paper. That's gonna go on top of that. Then I have a label that was cut from, I'll have to put it in the comments. It's one of my favorites, but it's not my stylish shapes. Can't think of the name of it right at the moment. But we're gonna work with this, and then I've got the inside that we're gonna do, and I can go ahead and we're gonna put this together. So I'm gonna put this off to the side. I also have the pears. Now, with these particular pears, I actually, and you can see this, but I actually stamped and colored my pears on this one. For today, I'm gonna make the same card, but I'm gonna use this pears that I cut out of the designer series paper. So the first thing I wanna do is I wanna dress up my circle. And I'm gonna put some print on it, and I'm utilizing the Elements of Text stamp set. It's a clean stamp set. I've already got the stamp out, but we're gonna use Elements of Text, and I'm actually gonna stamp this in Misty Moonlight. So my Misty Moonlight is, I thought I already had it out. See, here I am, I've already lost it. Do I have it out? Yep, I have it out somewhere. I used it for my thank you. Why do these things get lost? This is so crazy. Here we go, found it. All right, so let's go ahead and get this inked up. This Elements of Text stamp is just fun to add some interest to whatever it is that you might be making. So I wanna make sure, it doesn't really matter, I guess, because I can turn my circle around. But I'm gonna go ahead and put my circle down, and I am going to just stamp over the top of it. I wanna make sure I get a good connection with it. And then when you take it up, you've got this fun element on your circle. So let's go ahead and clean this off real quick. All right, now let's move this out of the way and let's start. Let me see. Oh, I do need to stamp thank you. So I'm gonna bring back in my piercing mat and this, and we're gonna stamp thank you up in the upper right-hand corner. So let me bring in the Misty Moonlight again so we can get that done. And then let me see, I'm gonna put it right about here, I think. There we go. I love that font. It's such a pretty font. let's clean this off quick. And we can start to build. So we've got our basic white card base to start. Then we're going to use the, I don't think this is Secrecy. This must be Night of Navy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my Designer Series paper. And this is that Designer Series paper. Remember I was talking to you about cutting it by 4 by 4, and then you got 4 pieces. This is actually the centerpiece of that. Hey, Jan, good to see you from sunny Oregon. Thank you for joining us. All right, let me get this layer down. All right, let's scooch this over and make sure we get it centered up appropriately. This one looks like it needs to come down. Oop, just a little bit. It still slides very, very well. All right, there we go. All right, now let's go ahead and get it on our card base, making sure it's opening up the right way. Okay, so we'll get this down. And again, I love sometimes just doing the very thin borders, so I'm not cutting these very wide. The layers are there and it provides the interest, the layers that you need, but it's not real wide. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece and I'm going to actually put dimensionals behind it. So let me pull this out. And we'll just add a few dimensionals back here because I want to pop this circle up. Let's see. But I want to make sure I'm giving it some stability, and I always put one in the center just because I don't like middle sag. So let's go ahead and get these off. Did I get that? Get that one. Yep, got it. All right. So let's go ahead and bring this back in. And I'm making it so that my script is upright. I don't want to put my script down upside down. So now we've got this. And I'm going to do the same thing with my pears. I'm going to put dimensionals behind them, and then we'll get them centered. So let me put these 2 big ones here, and I can do another one right here. And we'll go ahead and get these down. This is a really easy card. I tell you, the Designer Series paper makes creating these cards very, very easy. So now I'm just going to take these pears and I'm going to put them right in the center. Maybe I want them to go right about here, I think. So we've got that. I'll put the bling on in just a second, but I want to go ahead and get the inside done. So what I'm doing with this one, now I have to decide what I want to do, because when I cut this scrap, actually it's part of this. And so here's my pear. My pear actually is facing up. So I think what I can do is I can go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put this down on the inside. I could have turned it over and we could have gone with the back side, but I really like the pear and the leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line this up with my card base, and it hangs over just a little bit. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my snips and I'm just going to trim this off right here. So we got that trimmed off. And then I have this little blue piece. I felt like I wanted a little bit of interest there. And so I'm going to take this little blue piece and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. This is a skinny, skinny piece. I don't need a lot of glue, so I'm just going to put a teeny tiny bit. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to butt it up against this Designer Series paper. And I think one of the reasons I ended up doing this is because my Designer Series paper had white in it and my card base was white, or my inside card base was white. So I just wanted to kind of just add a little bit of interest to it. So now that I've done that, now what I can do is I can take and I can adhere this piece down. these in here. Looks good. Okay, so we've got that. So let's bring out our bling again. And this time I think I'll use the green, and we'll go ahead and get some fun embellishments down here. So I'm gonna do this one and this one. And I use the pick. I tend to use the pick, but certainly on your take your pick, you can use the putty end of it, and the putty end will actually grab your embellishment as well, and then you can put it up there. It's just preference and what works easiest for you. All right, so there we go. We now have card number 2 done. And how easy was that? So, so easy. And the fun inside as well. All right. And you can see the difference between the 2 pairs. This is the Designer Series paper pear, and this is the pear that I stamped and colored it. I colored the same way that I showed you on the first card. But the other thing that I wanted to point out is you can see the white around the Designer Series paper. I took Pool Party, the light Pool Party, and I actually, if you can see it, it might not be easy to see, but I took the light Pool Party and I colored all the white in, so that kind of made the white less stark. So again, personal preference as to how you might want to do that. All right, let me bring in card number 3. This is the book fold card. This is the one that Diana was excited about. So we have the Misty Moonlight, or excuse me, this is Night of Navy. All my pieces are in here. All right, so I don't want to lose these pieces. So we've got our layer. Let me make sure I don't have anything in my envelope. That's good. So we've got our 2 layers, one for the inside and one for the outside. I have Designer Series paper that I'm going to utilize for my book fold, the side of my book fold, but I'm probably going to utilize this one because I've got some ideas. I've got my pears that I have die cut, so we're going to utilize those. I've got my stem that we're going to do here. I've got the little flowers, and I want to share with you what I did with these. I know it's going to be hard to see, but you'll see as I start to build this card. All right, so here's my little flowers, and then I've got my banner that we're going to stamp on for our sentiment, and this of course is from the Stylish Shapes dies, again my favorite staple in my studio. Now this card, when I created it, I cut the leaves out of the dies in the Perfectly Pears. Not only do you have your dies for your pears and such, but you've also got some leaves as well. And so what I did is the first card, I utilized the green, the old olive, but I just felt like it kind of got lost. So this time around, I want to build it with the Night of Navy, and I think that's going to be so much prettier. So I'm going to move this off to the side because I will utilize this again on another card. And let me see, the inside, we'll work on, when we're doing our stamping, we'll work on the inside as well. So let me first bring this in and let's get our pear put together so that we don't have to worry about it later. So I'm just going to put a little dab of glue here and we'll get this glued down. Okay. And then while that is setting, I'm going to show you what we're going to do. I love being able to provide some background to the pears before I actually adhere them. So a couple things I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to take the Darling Duckling and we are going to do some color blending again. So where's my paper? Where did I put it? It's right here. So I'm going to do this. I could do it on my glass mat, and I do it a lot on my glass mat, but I don't have my baby wipes over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take some Darling Duckling, and then I'm going to go to the center of my paper, and I'm just going to blend. And I can go as far out as I want to go. I definitely want to keep some white, but I'm just going to continue to blend, and I can go as dark as I want to go too. So that potentially could be enough color for me. I think maybe I might want to do just a little bit more. So I'm going to dabble that off. am going to be putting the pears over it, so I want to make sure that you can see this darling duckling glow. All right, that looks good to me. So I'm going to move this off to the side. I'm actually going to utilize the paper again, because now what I want to do is I want to add some splatters. And I'm utilizing my blends to make my splatters. So I have pecan pie. I'm going to use the light pecan pie. And if you've never done this before, this is a lot of fun. But I'm going to move all my stuff out of the way just in case I get crazy with my splatters. I don't want to mess anything up. However, I wanted my flowers to have some splatter on them. I've already splattered those because I just basically took a piece of cardstock, splattered on the cardstock, and then splattered on these. Thank you, Diana. So there's already splatter here, but if I get more splatter on it, I'm not going to worry about it, right? Okay, so we're getting ready to splatter. Take your Stampin' blend and take the brush tip of your Stampin' blend, and then all you're going to do is you're going to basically flick on the edge of your cap, and you're going to flick onto your paper. And can you see the splatters start to form? What an easy way to splatter. You can do as little or as much as you want, but how fun is that? And then you're done. Okay, so let's bring this back in, and I'm going to move that stuff out of the way, and we are going to start to build this card. So one of the first things I did with a book fold card is I had to score, and I scored basically at 1.5 inches. So just the top layer, okay, just the top layer I scored at 1.5 inches and folded that back. Now what I can do is, before I put everything together, I want to go ahead and glue this down. But before I glue this down, I'm going to bring in my ribbon. This is gorgeous ribbon. It's called Mossy Meadow in Gold. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this in. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut just enough. Let me see, I got to find my ribbon snips to be able to wrap this around. There's no sense in wasting it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut about that much. Before I put that down though, I need to put down my little strip of designer series paper. So let's go ahead and get this down. And I'm so glad I remembered to do that before I glued my ribbon down. But we'll be ready to put our ribbon down. All right, so let's go ahead and get this down, and I'm going to get it centered. Okay, so I've got that. Now I can put my ribbon over the top of it. And I'm actually, let me see, is there a difference in the sides? I want the more green side up. I don't know if you can see, but there's a lot more gold on this side. I want the one that's a little bit more green. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of center that, and then I'm going to bring out my Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to put a little bit of Stampin' Seal here and a little bit of Stampin' Seal here, and then we'll get this lined up appropriately. So let me go ahead and do this, and then I'm going to bring this around to make sure I've got it straight, and then I'm just going to tuck it in behind. Okay, so now my ribbon's ready to go for the most part. So I can glue this down now. So let's go ahead and get this adhered down. So I'm going to make sure I get plenty of glue here. I put some on top of the ribbon. Get this all glued down. Okay. And now when this opens, it will open this way. We're not done with the ribbon yet, but I want to give this a chance to set. So let's go ahead and put our piece of white that we did all the speckles to. So we'll go ahead and get that down, and then we can start adding the pears. So let me go ahead and get this down. I'll get it lined up. Make sure I've got it even everywhere. Okay. Oh, you know what I forgot to do, guys? I knew I'd forget something. We're just going to tuck it in. We've got, it's not secured down tight, but I do want to put this Misty Moonlight leaf underneath it. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a few dots of glue on the backs of my leaves. Forgot. So excited that I got it down before I put my ribbon down that I forgot about this. And then we're going to tuck this in. I'm going to tuck it in from this side. And if I do end up with a little bit of glue that I'm going to have to deal with, it's okay. I've got an adhesive eraser. But I'm actually going to tuck the stem back behind, and then I'm going to try to move this so that it's not hanging over too much. But I do want to see part of the leaf sticking out from behind it. So I've got a tiny bit sticking out here. I'm okay with that. On my last card, I actually moved the ribbon over a little bit more so you could see more of the leaf. But every card is different, and so this one's going to be different too. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a little bit more ribbon, and we're going to tie a little knot here. So I'm going to tuck this up underneath. This time I'm going to put it at the top instead of the bottom. And I'm going to turn this so that my gold, I want my gold to actually be, or I don't want the gold to be on top. So we're going to do this. And then what I can do to just secure it a little bit is I'm going to take my glue dots, and I'll go ahead and I will take your pick, and I'm just going to grab a glue dot here and pull that off, and I'm going to tuck it right underneath here. Whoops. Get it tucked right up underneath here, and that'll help hold my ribbon down as well. So now what I can do is I can come in and I can trim this here, and I can trim this here. So I've got my little, and actually the gold wants to be on the top. I'm gonna maybe trim this up just a little bit more. But if I want this to be down, so I'm gonna take another glue dot, and I'm just gonna play with it here, and I'm gonna place it right there, and then I can put my ribbon here. All right, so now I've got that. And then the other thing that I'm gonna do is, you can see this little leaf is sticking off to the side. It's okay, I'm just going to, and the only reason I'm trimming that off is because I'm worried that it wouldn't be fit into my envelope appropriately. All right, so we've got that all taken care of. Now we've got some more stamping that we're gonna do. So I'm gonna push this off to the side for just a second. We'll continue to build. But I wanna go ahead and get the sentiment stamped, and I wanna get the inside stamped. So let me bring this back in, and let me see here. We're going to use the Darling Duckling again, and I wanna make sure I've got it going the right way. So this is the right way. Oh, just lost the card. All right. So let's go ahead and get some more Darling Duckling. And we're gonna put down in this little corner down here. Okay. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we are going to take the flowers right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stamp those in. What color did I use? I just dropped my card. Hold on just a second, guys. My card went flying. All right, here we go. So, okay, that's what I thought. I'm gonna stamp them in the Memento Black. So let me bring this in. We'll get this done. Make sure I get a good coating on them. So they're gonna go right down here in this corner. Okay, and then I'm gonna give them their centers. So let me go ahead and clean this off really quickly. It's just a habit I've gotten into, guys. I always clean my stamps after I've used them, because inevitably if I don't, then my fingers get in it. All right, so I'm gonna use the Darling Duckling, and we're gonna add our centers to this. So let's go ahead and do that, and let me see if I get this lined up appropriately. That's not the way. This way maybe? Yes, this way. No? Maybe this way. Yes, this is the way. So let's go ahead and get that stamped. There we go, we've got our centers. They're very subtle, but they kind of go along with these little flowers that we've got going here. All right. So let's go ahead and let's get our inside adhered down. we go. So the center's done. So now we just, oh, we've got to stamp. Oh, we do have to stamp. Let's use, let's go ahead and do this in Night of Navy. I've got my Night of Navy right here. And we're going to stamp A Good Friend is a Gift. I believe that. A good friend is a gift. I love this sentiment. All right, so let me bring in my piercing mat just so that I've got some cushion with these photopolymer stamps. And we'll go ahead and get A Good Friend is a Gift stamped right here. There we go. Clean this off. And we're going to start to build. All right. Bring this back in. And the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to lay down my pears and see where I want them to be. So I'm going to pop up my big pear, but I'm going to put the little pears behind it. So I'm going to leave my big pear there and get some glue on my little pears. I love you guys are having a conversation. How fun. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and get our dimensionals down on my pear. We'll put one here, and then I'm going to take the minis, and I'm going to put, well, maybe I can get by with a big one because these leaves are pretty big. So let me go ahead and do that. And I'm going to figure this one in. Okay. There we go. Oop, be careful when you're pulling your backings off. You don't want to rip your leaves. Okay, got this. So let's go ahead and do that. And let me see, I want my big pear to go right about here, I think. So we'll go ahead and get that down. And then my sentiment is going to have dimensionals as well. So we'll put the sentiment here. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the other side. Did I get the back off? No, I did not. Got the back off. Then we're going to do the sentiment, and we're going to do it right about here. I want it to come up close to the edge. Let me make sure I've got that straight. That looks good. Okay, last thing we're gonna do, well, I say the last thing, we've got these flowers that we're gonna put on. I'm gonna use the flowers like I would do an embellishment. So let me see, I can't remember if I can fit these. No, I can't. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna take my snips because I wanna pop them up. So I'm going to take my little mini dimensionals and I'm going to do some surgery, and I'm going to cut them into little pieces that hopefully I can utilize to put behind my sentiments, or not my sentiments, but my leaves. So these are going to have to be cut again. So let me do this, and I'm going to cut again, and that way I have these little bitty dimensionals that I can put behind my flowers and pop them up. So we've got that one, and this is why I love my tweezers so much, because my fingers would not be able to do this. They're too big. All right, so let's get the backs off first. So I'm going to do this one. Back off of that. Did I get it? I can't tell. I think I did. All right, and then what I'll do is I'll take this this flower, and I'm going to use my tweezers to help get it down. So we'll put one here, and then let's get this one off, and then we're going to add some more bling to this. So we've got the backing off of that one, and I'm going to put this one here, and then I've got this last one. And then I've got a couple extra flowers that if I wanted to utilize them further, I could. But I typically work in sets of 3. So I'm going to put this one here. All right, so now we've got that. Let's bring out our bling again. And this time I'm going to utilize the yellow, because that's what color and it's not wanting to pick up that way, so I'm going to do the putty end. But basically what I want to do is I want to center it right in the middle of my flower. So I've got that one, and I've got this one. There we go. And I have this one. Whoops. Almost there. Now it's on my glass mat. All right. Work with me. Oh, got it. Okay. We'll put that one there. All right. Move this stuff out of the way. And now we have card number 3 done, and it is a book fold card. How fun is that? We've got our green ribbon. If I were to do it again, I liked it the way that I did it on this last one where I moved it over more, so more of my leaves were showing, but I do like the fact that I decided to go with the blue leaves instead. So card number 3. Let's move this stuff out of the way. We have card number 2. And we have card number 1. How fun and so pretty and so easy. This designer series paper makes such a huge difference, and there's so many little things that you can do, that you can add different nuances to it to dress it up. So you can use a designer series paper, you can stamp if you choose to, you can dress up your circles. This was second generation, this was first generation. You know, you can change them up. You know by now, none of my cards, 2 cards, ever really actually look the same. So thank you so much. Let me come back and see you guys for just a second, just to say thank you for joining me today. I'm thrilled to have you here, and I love to see the conversation that was going on. That's exactly what I'm looking for, is I want us just to be a community. So thank you so much. Please remember to like and share, not only here on Facebook, but to also, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, to be sure to like and share and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And remember that this is a to-go class, so if you're interested, be sure to go out to aprildaviscreations.com. All the information's there. You can get the kit for free by placing an order in my online store, or you can actually purchase the kit. It's your choice. And I'm excited to share with you for next week. I already know what we're doing, and all I can say is that it's harvest time. It's a hint. So anyway, thanks so much for joining, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.